Ho ho buddies, welcome to Borderline Games. I'm Gareth and today we're playing Raging Loop. This is the first episode. Let's jump right into it. Let's go! Alright. Introduction. Tutorial. Bow. I bid you welcome to the world of this visual novel, Raging Loop. I am nobody special, honestly. Simply consider me part of the interface. You may refer to me as Rikako. You are most likely playing this game for the first time, and I am here to explain a few things about it. This work is quite strange, you see. It is recommended that the uninitiated take the time to read everything here. Those uploading the gameplay should at least read the 4 videos, the 4 videos and sharing section. If you read until the end, you'll find a sexy CG of me doesn't exist. We truly do live in a society, a harsh society. How sad. Now, where should I begin? About this game. Raging Loop is a visual novel. Much like with regular novels, the story is told through text, and the enjoyment comes from reading it. If you are familiar with the party games Werewolf and Mafia, this visual novel bears a close resemblance to those, but keep in mind it is just a resemblance. Sincerest apologies to those who are hoping to play an eternal game of Werewolf with 20 super AI Rikakos. I weep and bleed for you truly. How sad. Of course, this is not merely a novel. As you carry on, you will sometimes come upon choices which affect the story. It's quite amazing. Oh, okay, it's not just a linear thing then. The characters have lively visual depictions, as well as voices, making it easy to immerse yourself in this world. To enjoy the voices to the fullest extent, or to simply avoid bothering your neighbours with the sound of anguished screams, please consider using headphones. This story is obscenely lengthy as well, so please take care not to be drawn in so thoroughly that you begin losing sleep. Also, you may be aware of this already, but Raging Loop is based entirely around fabricated murders and horrific scenarios. Horrific. It's tailor-made for all you fans of suspense thrillers, horror, and mystery. Of course, this is a work of fiction, so it has nothing to do with real people, groups, and incidents. It also includes fictional details about academic matters such as history, religion, mythology, science, and medicine. Relying upon it during exams would get you 0 points. How sad. Sure, it wouldn't get you 0 points. Lastly, we do not endorse replicating the crimes and cruelty depicted in this work. I'm sure that would stop people. There's nothing to worry about as long as you differentiate between reality and fiction. This is, after all, fiction. I'm sure you are intelligent enough not to conflate things that happen in the game world with things that happen in real life. So, enjoy Raging Loop to your heart's content. Okay, so we've done about this game. Special functions, do we need to do that? Allow me to tell you about Raging Loop's special functions. Raging Loop's story branches out in ways so complicated it might be hard to follow. But there's no need to worry, for we have included a handy function called the scenario chart. You can access it at any time by simply opening the menu, giving you an overview of the scenario. And that's not all. Using the chart allows you to move to any chapter you've already been to, anytime, anywhere. Now, there's no need to save at every choice you come across. You can simply go back and choose again, so there's nothing to worry about. The scenario chart function will be explained again when you have to use it, so don't worry if you don't quite understand it. Next up, keys. Keys. All branching in the story happens immediately when you make a choice. None of them start taking effect further down the line, okay? However, some of the choices can only be unlocked when you have specific bits of information called keys. Many might say that searching for these keys is one of the major goals in this game. Don't worry if you don't understand how to search for them. It will be explained when you have one. Additionally, keep in mind that all routes unlocked by acquisition of a key will be open even if you haven't saved after the fact. This also means that you can't load back to a state when you didn't have the key. Okay, that's good. This doesn't make any scene inaccessible, so it's not much of a problem, but it's something to keep in mind. For those commendable individuals who would like to play without any keys again, please refer to the data reset option. Use it wisely. More? Oh no, okay, cool. Standard functions. In addition to the special functions, Raging Loop also has the basic functions you'd expect any visual novel to have. You can hide the text window, see the backlog, load, save, skip, read text, skip to the next choice, and so on. Saving and loading works as they normally do. There's an autosave function as well, but it only saves each time you enter a new chapter, so don't rely on it too much. Please save manually whenever it feels appropriate. Whether you've read to a part that calls for it, or you're about to use the scenario chart. Next are the options. The options allow you to change the volume, text, display speed, as well as a few other things. However, explaining it all would make you all very sleepy, so please either read the other instructions or listen to a certain someone's extra explanations. I'm counting on you, certain someone. Okay. Aye! Okay. Alright, so videos and sharing. This is for me. Raging Loop is a visual novel, meaning that the story, events, and conclusions are very important. Because of this, it would be very troubling if someone uploaded everything to the internet. I'd be sad. Very sad. Then again, we do understand those who want to enjoy the work with many other people. Because of this, we have set a guideline for how far we would like you to upload. This range covers the whole first main route and a little extra. Specifically, you can only upload until the choice at 4 infiltration queue entering the village. That's a lot, just so you know. I'm sure you'll have enough content for your uploads. I actually think it's a bit too much. Uploaders who read everything aloud might get a sore throat. Okay. Please don't overdo yourselves, alright? Also, if you intend to upload, please use the reminder function. Oh yeah, I want to do that. How do I do that? If you have it set on. Okay. If you have it set it on. Okay. When you reach the time to stop making a video, a strange sheep hops onto the screen and says, "End of the line." We will be grateful if you stop recording when you see him and try theorizing and arguing instead. This function is currently set to off. Put it on. Very well. I've set it to on. If you wish to change it, please go to 0 introduction and come here again. Alright, I'm good. Let's go. Phew. That sure took a while. Thank you kindly for reading this far. Anyway, let's begin the story. Beyond the pockets of mist and hazes of blood at the end of the ever-repeating despair and grief, please come and witness the truth of the werewolf village with your own 2 eyes. Wow. $5.11 Sunday. I closed in on the side of the road and killed the engine. It was steeper than I'd thought. My bike was on the verge of giving out, so I pushed down and deployed the kickstand. Well, I'm lost. Maybe taking a ride down an unknown road with no sat-nav on me wasn't such a good idea. I just followed the road, so I'd figured I wouldn't get lost, but now I was in some deep shit. No. Cool it. This isn't a big deal. I sighed. Took note of the fact that I'd gotten lost in my pocket. Journal. Oh, hang on. Oh, make a note that in my pocket journal that I'd got lost. Okay, cool. And then pulled out a map and had a nap. Suddenly, a rush of memories flitted into my mind. Oh, we can't actually... Oh, okay, forget it. Interesting, we've got to get a key. Key 4 we need. I somehow kept myself from remembering those things. After all, I'd gone on this trip to forget. Ugh. Enough of that. I gotta focus on what's happening right now. Life is simple. Just like this road, it's dark and there aren't any guides. But that means all you gotta think about is whether you go forward or back. Going back wasn't an option in this case, so I just moved forward. Still, I wanted to know where I was, at least, so I looked down at my map. It was all Greek to me. I was in Greece. Last time I'd seen a sign, it was still light out, meaning that I'd gotten lost after the sun had set. Sure, it was my own fault for just guessing which intersections I'd been passing through, and that it had taken me 2 hours to conclude I was lost. Crazy to think that just 2 hours of aimless driving got me almost completely surrounded by mountains. They extended as far as the eye could see. If you flipped this scenery upside down and shook it, it's unlikely even a shred of civilization would tumble. Besides the asphalt below, my sweet ride and the lamppost above, the first one in a while, mind you, there was nothing man-made here. The pocket map I had wasn't detailed enough for me to figure out where I was. Guess I'll just keep on driving. I'd go as far as I could. Worst comes to worst, I could just camp at the side of the road. Two hours later, I deeply regretted ever thinking that. Basically, camping wasn't an option. This mountain road had no side to camp on. A dump truck I'd passed barely even fit on it. I'd also had my first close encounter with wild forest animals. I'd already seen 2 boars and 3 deer in those 2 hours alone. One of the deer had run parallel to my bike while intently staring at me, and I had no idea what to think of that. I'd felt like it could smell my fear. And did it just make it worse? How dare the thing do that to a human? We're the kings of the planet, damn it. I'd have to remember to eat some venison once I got back to civilization. Anyway, camping out here was a bad idea. I'd end up as either roadkill or animal food. And yet I didn't back out. Why? Because I'm a pretty warped sort of guy, and I won't pretend otherwise. That was actually the reason why my once comfortable relationship had gone awry, and why I'd gone on this stupid trip. Still, despite acknowledging that, I chose to keep moving forward. It wasn't like I'd find a place to stay if I went back. I was actually starting to think that this experience might make a good conversation piece sometime down the road. It was really getting late at this point. Where would these roads take me anyway? It'd probably be disappointing. Soon enough, the road became flat. I was out of the mountain pass. The forests remained abundant, though, so I still didn't see much. Even so, the street lights and signs were enough to make me feel I was again nearing civilization. Was streetlights the right expression for lights in a forest? I'd have to look that up. As the road grew less rugged, I realised just how exhausted I was. All this bike handling had left my hands really sore too. I really had to rest. Suddenly I saw something unexpected. Powerful, colourful, artificial lights. A convenience store? Fresh mark. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was next to an intersection between the road I was on and another, even thinner road that could probably support only a single car. The sea of trees ended, giving room for the majestic child of our consumerist society. Yeah, that was an exaggeration. Apparently even a damn store was a big deal for someone who'd just stepped out to the wild. It was called Fresh Mark. I'd seen several of them a few times during the day. It was probably a local franchise. The building didn't look all that old. At least the parking lot looked a lot smoother compared to the roads. This was a pretty weird place to build something like that, though. Was I close to a settlement? But did they actually make a profit off of lost travellers? I'd just ask that or something. A local shopkeeper was bound to know what was around these parts. Not to mention I was thirsty. I was welcomed by a weird chime sound. It looked like a normal convenience store. There were goods on the shelves, a counter on the left, and... Whoa. Oh, that wasn't her talking. Whoa! The worker at the counter was so mean-looking it was scary. She was so imposing I wouldn't have doubted if someone told me she was in charge of some ladies' army corps. Aye. Was that supposed to be a greeting? It was so damn cold it actually gave me chills. Was this store shadier than it appeared? Was I about to be stupidly overcharged? Was this how the place made a profit, by taking advantage of lots of people and basically beating them out of their money? Tch. Shit, that was scary. Clearly the Wonderland had only just begun. Woohoo! I sure was excited for the beating. I grew more nervous and less enthusiastic by the second. I braced myself, but she just looked down at a magazine in her hands. Oh, so she was just a slacker. Slightly disappointed, I walked around the store. It was about what you'd expect. There was a small shelf with energy drinks, followed by some stationeries, travel goods, sanitary stuff, etc. There were sweets that came with toys, a shelf of cut ramen and dried food, a fridge, a freezer. It all looked normal. It was late, so the daily dish and packed lunch section was completely empty. Oh no. My favourite section. The only thing about this place was the section full of unpacked vegetables you'd expect to see at a greengrocer's. Maybe all rural convenience stores were like this? I was slightly surprised by that, but there weren't any local fine foods or anything, so all in all, it was an unremarkable store. If you ignored the clerk anyway. I took a drink and brought it to the register. Ah. Yep, she really was the highlight of this place. What kind of clerk smokes while dealing with a customer? You're actually buying? Yes, I was actually buying. She was the clerk, and I be her god, the customer. 126 yen. She didn't even scan it. This exchange was at the mercy of the clerk. God is dead. Maybe I had to get mad at her. Can I ask something? Huh? I'm kinda lost right now. I quickly turned meek. Where could I find the nearest town? There. Don't you have a map or something? We don't. Man, this woman. I'm not sure I believe that. Convenience stores often get asked for directions. You must have a map handy. That a rule? Well, we don't have one. Go back wherever you came from. I've been lost for a few hours now. I don't think I can keep it up for much longer. I don't think I can keep it up for much longer, is how that should have been delivered. Sleep on the floor or something. She had to be joking. I appreciate the sentiment, but I'd rather be on my way. Are you sure you can't help? Alright, just wait. The clerk put out her smoke in the ashtray and went to the staff-only area. She came back in no time. Found it. Oh, we can see her eyes now. So she did have a map. Of course she did. Even more ill-tempered than usual, the clerk started giving an explanation. This here's this store. Go to the north at the crossroads. You'll find an overpass soon enough. Cross it. When you come to a fork next to a giant boulder, turn right and head straight. On this road? What of it? There's nothing there. There's a settlement. It's just not on the map. That seems suspicious. Do you know any other places? There's, Fujiyoshi, but it's 2 hours. Through a mountain pass. This one's about 30 minutes away. Fujiyoshi seemed to be a village. It didn't look too far away, but the road leading to it was a huge branching mess. It was clearly just a paved mountain pass. I'd had enough of those for one day. I'd probably just get lost again. I'll go to that one then. Thank you. Money. Excuse me? You didn't pay for the tea. Here's 500 yen. Ding, rustle, jingle. Oh, I'm pressing it. What's going on? I just crashed my game. Oh, that was weird. Why did you put the change in the collection box without asking me? Oh, my controller's run out of battery. That's why. I need to do a little mouse. Okay, that doesn't help me. Okay, so it's clicking from now on. Having too many coins is a pain, ain't it? That was a hell of a line. I casually thanked her, grabbed the plastic bottles of tea. She didn't give me a bag, by the way, and left the store. I drank the tea in the parking lot and looked up at the moon, obscured by clouds, but still bright enough to outshine the light of the convenience store. The clerk put me in a bad mood, though, so I didn't enjoy the sight. I threw the bottle into a nearby trash can and aggressively drove away. Following the directions, I crossed the overpass and arrived at the first fork in the road. The byway she told me about was really narrow. I probably wouldn't have noticed it were it not for the tall boulder. Standing there like a roadside shrine for some traveller deity. Turning carefully, I got on the road. A minute later, I found myself in an even worse wilderness than before. A veil of dead leaves covered the ground. Tall grass sided the path, and the sky above was blocked by overgrown shrubs, making it feel like I was passing a wooden tunnel. The road itself was a huge red flag. It was a wonder why I didn't just turn around. The exchange from before might have pissed me off more than I thought. Still, I really didn't expect the road to just end. It happened about 15 minutes in. The view ahead suddenly turned strangely dark, and a split second later, the bike tipped forward. Uh-oh. I reflexively hit the brakes, but it was too late. I started going down a cliff. My bike tilted downwards, and its suspension was put to the greatest test yet, so we basically tumbled down to the bottom. The headlights suddenly shone on some dirt and grass. I knew then that I'd be flung out of my seat. Uh-oh. Stifling a scream, I tried to work some steering and brake magic to slow down without collapsing. But that was too big a task for a simple road bike. At the bottom of the cliff, it jumped higher than ever before. The suspension couldn't handle the impact, and I was launched into the air. A moment later, I heard a crash, and felt an impact, after which came an unpleasant pain. Damn it. An accident where I was flung out like that was the first time for me. Oh, hang on. That's not what it said, was it? An accident where I was flung out like that was a first for me. The launch was really something too. I did a 360 in the air and fell on my back. My breathing stopped for a moment and the pain was so bad I thought all of my bones had shattered. My face and limbs seemed pretty fine at least, though I wasn't sure if that counted as a silver lining. There was grass under my hands. I felt it even through the gloves. That and the smell of green made it pretty clear what I'd landed on. I pushed down and my hands sunk. This grass growth was pretty hefty. It was probably the reason why I came out relatively okay. Sure, my joints creaked when I stood up. But aside from that, I was fine. It was really dark, so I couldn't really confirm it. But I was pretty sure I wasn't even bleeding. My bike, however, wasn't nearly as lucky. So we're trapped here. Oh boy. It was lying on the side of on its side a short distance ahead. The engine was still on. The back wheel kept on turning, making an unpleasant fricative noise. As in friction? I don't know. Yep, it was busted. I walked up, killed the engine, and took the key. With the headlights off, I was surrounded by absolute darkness. So I just stood up and waited until my eyes adjusted. I still couldn't see very clearly. But it looked like this actually wasn't a cliff. It was still a road. It just wasn't paved beyond this point. Obviously, a road bike stood no chance against an unpaved road. That woman actually tried to kill me. Zigzagging through the trees, I followed the narrow footpath deeper into the forest. I tried getting my bike up and running again. Oh, I see. Tried to get my bike up and running again, but instantly gave up. It was partially stuck in mud, so there was the risk of it slipping and getting me into another accident. Maybe I had to turn around? The moment I considered that, I thought I saw a faint light ahead. If that woman wasn't lying, this road led to a settlement. Was I close? I reached into my jacket's pocket, took out my phone and opened it. As you'd expect, I was out of range. I ran the light app and shone a light to see better. Though weak, it was better than nothing. At the very least, it helped me watch where I was going. I had no idea how long I'd been walking for. But sure enough, I could see a light beyond the shrubs. It was weaker than expected. A flashlight, perhaps. I could hear water, too. I might have been near a river. Hello? I raised my voice. Hello? Anyone there? Still declaring my presence, I walked forward. It was late at night. Were I to bump into someone here, the scare would probably take away a few years of our lives. That was why I figured it was best for both of us to let the other know we were here before that happened. However, there was no response. Could they not hear me over the rapids? Hello? I shone my light ahead and realized I'd made it to an opening. Sure enough, there was a river. Or a stream, rather. I could see slightly more than I had while surrounded by trees. Straining my eyes, I saw a rocky river beach in the shallows. The light I'd seen was on the other side. From what I could tell, it was either a lantern or a flashlight, and it was close to the ground. I didn't see any people, though. No one responded to my shouting either. I wasn't excited about it, but I decided to step into the water. Didn't seem like a good idea. The cold water quickly soaked my shoes and socks. I could have taken them off, but I figured that crossing a river barefoot at night was a bad idea. But man, was it cold. I put my phone back into my jacket. I needed both my hands free in case I fell. Not stopping or backing down, I walked toward the light. It suddenly became deeper. The water reached my knees now. It was too close for comfort. Feeling the bottom with my toes and balancing myself, I somehow avoided losing my footing. The flow was fiercer than I'd expected. If I slipped and fell, I'd probably be washed away. It suddenly hit me. I was doing something really weird, but it was too late to back down. Putting my hands on the boulders and carefully checking what I was stepping on, I gradually made it to the other side. Then, with an unpleasant wet sound in my every step, I walked up to the light. I could already see it clearly. Yeah, it was a flashlight, lying on the ground for some reason. Almost like this is a game. There wasn't much space here. It was a narrow riverbank with a cliff right beside it. As you'd expect, I didn't see or sense anybody nearby. The hell? Though old, the flashlight was working fine. The strength of the light told me the battery was pretty full. That meant that someone was actually using this tonight. Or, rather, until just a few moments ago. That was the most logical conclusion. It obviously wasn't left here yesterday afternoon or evening. And yet the user was nowhere in sight, and I was near a river. Did something bad happen? Did the flashlight's owner step into the stream and get swept away? That was the most likely, and worst possible scenario. However, the flashlight was left there practically buried in the pebbles. It didn't seem like someone placed it there to light things up. It was the dead of night. There was no way you wouldn't notice dropping your flashlight when it was so dark. Right. The fact that a light source was left in a place like this was strange by itself. With that considered, what was going on here? What if someone heard my stupid shouting and decided to lure me in with a light so they could ambush me? Where would they attack from? Above? Hello? I heard a voice the moment I looked up. The rock cliff was actually made up of several boulders. There was a face peeking from behind one of them. Hello? Wow, a person, you surprised me. That was my line. Sorry, could you pick that up for me? The voice was feminine. I finally realised what was going on. So, you dropped this? I picked up the flashlight and pointed it at the source of the voice. Ah! High-pitched voice, slender hands, shielding the light. Sure enough, it was a young woman. It's so bright. Oh, sorry. This is me, by the way. That's creepy. Don't shine it up from below like that. I'm actually a bit lost. I think a bit is something of an understatement then. Yeah, thought as much. Is this a settlement? That's a difficult question. Can you help me out at least? Help? I just need a place to hide from the rain and wild animals. That's all. Standing on a boulder, the young woman made a pensive face. Wanna come to my place? And that was the conclusion she'd arrived at. Her face told me she was 100% serious. Place. My place? By that she surely meant a house, a settlement. Can I? I know I asked for help and all that, but I'm actually desperate enough to not hold myself back. What does that mean? Huh, as a man? Yes, I mean, no, as a living being. I spent the last few hours aimlessly driving around only to fall off my bike. I'm dead tired and at my wit's end here. Oh, dear. Then what kind of living being would I be if I just abandoned you? And so I was saved. Oh, the beauty of living beings looking out for each other. Anyway, your hand, please. Huh? You can't climb up on your own, yeah? True. Honestly, I didn't even realise I'd have to. Meeting another person filled me with relief, which was followed by a sudden wave of fatigue. It wasn't crippling, though. She extended her left hand, so I grabbed it with my own left. Her slender fingers were stronger than I expected. The girl's name was Chaemi Serizawa. Chaemi, right? I asked if she was related to the Shinsengumi guy. But she said that her family just adopted the name at some point in the Meiji period. She was a 21-year-old who went to a college far away from here. This was her hometown, and she was spending her post-exam vacation here. We chatted about stuff like that once she'd let me out of the rocky ravine. There was actually a proper path, so the rock climbing was pretty pointless, but I was too focused on my footing to comment. She told me about herself as soon as we reached solid ground. And what about you? I'm Haruaki. Oh, god damn it. Haruaki Fusaishi. Fusaishi? Haruaki Fusaishi. Okay, I got it. Haruaki Fusaishi. A graduate student in a Tokyo college. Ah, so you're a bit older. I'm 24, so 3 years. I'd say we're in the same age range. Yeah, so don't you dare be formal with me. Alright, then you can be casual with me too. Can I really? I like it when girls are friendly with me. It's a weird thing. I like it when people are nice with me. Well, I know what you mean. I don't like stiff socializing either. Sure, I'll treat you like a friend. Wouldn't have it any other way. That aside. Oh, hang on. Wouldn't have it any other way. That aside, are we there yet? Oopsie. Not quite. We're like 5 minutes away. Hang in there, Chief. What a lively girl. You could tell she was used to people. Also, watch your step and focus on just the light. Any reason? There are loads of pebbles here. It's dangerous. The moment she said that, I stumbled on a rock too big to be called a pebble. And it's pretty dark tonight. I couldn't even see the moon anymore. Nodding in agreement, I focused on following the light in her hand. I gotta change. Wait here a sec. And so I did just that. Given this was a mountain settlement, I'd expected some old wooden house, but she actually lived in an apartment block. It was too dark to get a good look at it. All I could see were the cheap-looking walls, like you'd expect from some old boarding house for students. Also, she lived on the second floor, in room 202. I'd heard some raindrops as we were climbing the rusty stairs, but now it was really pouring. Between that, the darkness, and the large tree right next to the building, it was nearly impossible to see what was going on outside. It felt like I was all alone in the world of nothing, but the walls, the door, and the fluorescent lamp above my head. It made me feel somewhat helpless. I distracted myself from that by imagining her changing. Gross. Eventually, the door opened up. Sorry about the wait. Come in. All smiles, she showed herself, now wearing sports clothes. This was kind of exciting. Look at this place. It's completely empty, huh? Yep. But get a load of what's in the fridge. Magnificent. Let's drink. Hell yeah. Yeah, her place really was empty. It was just a small room with a low table in the middle of a fridge. No, in the middle, a fridge, near the door, and a large duffel bag deeper in it. There wasn't a table in the middle of the fridge. There were 2 old-looking bookshelves too, but they were completely empty. I wasn't bothered one bit, though. Any girl's room was a wonderland to me. Anyway, you went through some big trouble, so I'll drink to you. And I'll drink to you for helping me out. You're a real saint. We opened up our cans, knocked them together, and downed them. Hey, it was actually good. The pleasant bitterness... Ooh, burping. The pleasant bitterness and the refreshing carbonation made for a good combo. So good, I live for this. Come on, you're too young to say that. Yeah, you're right. I'm not despairing for my future or love life yet. You hear that? That's the sound of job hunting. It's coming here fast. No, don't say that. You'll ruin my beer. She laughed and took a huge sip. It was pretty clear she could hold a drink. That aside, something really bothered me. This might be a bit late for this, but can I ask you something? Go ahead. Her cheeks were already red. Maybe she didn't handle her liquor as well as I thought. She had a well-featured face, and I didn't think it was wrong to consider her beautiful. Sure, her clothes weren't the least bit sexy, but I could tell she had some makeup on. So you, just some stranger who says he's lost, right? Yep. And you yourself were a young woman who invited that stranger into an enclosed space and started getting drunk. Oh. Don't you think this is dangerous? She kept gulping the drink even as she formulated a response. The very fact that I could just watch her do that made this a pretty risky situation, and yet I wouldn't say so. But time for a Shiemi Sour quiz. Yeah. Here's the question. My virginity is threatened, yet I don't feel like I'm in danger. Why? What a fun girl. This only made me like her more, increasing the danger even further. Am I allowed to ask questions? Sure. Can I just assume that it's not because I look like a good guy? Well, I don't think you look like a bad guy, but no, I doubt you're good either. You look experienced with women, for one. That unintentional compliment showed that she actually did see me as a potential danger. There are two types of answers to this. Either you expect nothing bad to happen but wouldn't be bothered if it did, or you actually want something to happen. Huh? I can think of several situations for the former. For example, you're actually on the edge and don't care what happens. Or maybe you're just confident you can defend yourself. Maybe you know martial arts and can easily kick my ass. Whoa, so logical. Let me guess, you're a scientist. Well, I guess you could say that. Now for the latter. If you intend for something to happen, then I'm a thirsty perv or something. It's a weird conversation. Wow, talk about not mincing words. I blame the booze. So what else is there? Indeed, what other reason could a woman have to bring a stranger to her home? It would surely be something non-standard like, you wanna use me somehow? For example, set me up as an alibi. I could be useful to you by attesting that you were here. Whoa, that's so shrewd. Or maybe you're a serial killer who brought me here just to get me drunk and kill me. Whoa, so I'm an evil mountain witch now. Sounds great, I'll kill you real good. Splosh, splosh. What kind of sound effect was that? By the way, you forgot another case. I did? Yep. I could just be a really good person who simply wants to help you. Was it time for me to be ashamed of my filthy mind? But, wait. Is that really important enough to risk being assaulted? Oh, so you're thinking of assaulting me? I'm just talking in general, you know, the cliche scenario? She stopped talking and turned red. It was so cute I thought she was actually doing it on purpose. Man, was she drunk. I don't feel safe in this situation. I feel like something's going to happen. And we were just on our second cans. Then how about this? If I don't let you stay here, something even worse would happen, and I'd feel real bad. Care to elaborate? There's some scary wild animals around here. You might have gotten torn up and eaten. That'd have left a bad taste in my mouth, so I figured I'd just let you stay. I see. So you're balancing risk and goodwill. Didn't expect that. Really now? You got any idea how much of a bad guy you seem now? Huh? I do. I mean, you assumed I was a thirsty perv, a serial killer, or needed an alibi before considering I was just a nice person. You're the one who brought up the perv thing. Details, details. So, what's the right answer? We're not just messing around. Get it right, and I'm giving you a nice present. Get it wrong, and you're dead. Splosh, splosh. Seriously? Whoa, okay. Thirsty perv, you're desperate. You'd feel guilty if you let me die. I mean, given her situation, maybe she is desperate. There's nothing in the shelves. Hey, I got it right. Ding, ding, ding! You're right. Well, I won't tell you the details, but yeah, I have my issues not having a good time recently, that's for sure. All girls your age have stuff going on. I don't mind hearing you out. Wow, so understanding. Forget all the talk about risk. You're gonna sweep me off my feet and take me home by solving all my problems with words. Why would I have to take you home? I'm already at your place. Well, guess what? Though my situation is dire, I'm actually not going to say anything. You've fallen for my trap. What a weird trap. I wasn't going to force you to talk if you didn't want to. Don't worry, you'll find out when we're a little closer, if you know what I mean. It'll be harder for you to get away then. Then I guess I won't touch you. Oh no! Anyway, this girl is actually pretty sharp. She really had a way with words and knew how to capitalize on it. It almost felt like she was implying that I couldn't let my guard down just because I was a guy. I admitted she was pretty damn attractive, but I felt like I'd have more fun just talking about lewd stuff than acting on it. The next day. Oh, that's what that means. It means it's auto-saving. Cool. I was curious what that meant. Anyway, we're going to end this episode here. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Raging Loop. We'll be back with more Raging Loop next time on Borderline Games. I will see you next time. Have a good evening, and I'll see you later. What else do I say? Bye!